Okay, Cameron's yeah. Cameron's going to help me pull this truck out. We're gonna pull the suicide machine up to the house and see if we can get the engine running at least and find out what parts we need to pull off of it. So let's give it a shot. Tire on the front flat, will not hold air, so I'll have to fix it later. Yeah, there we go. Move it out of God's storage shed and up to the house. Okay, we got her pulled up here. Body on this truck is just absolutely shot. This is what we always called the suicide machine. It was a truck my cousin and his dad built years ago out of many parts out of different trucks. And if you remember, mainly from the 80s and early 90s when people would mix sodas together, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatnot, they'd always call it a suicide. A bunch of stuff mixed together. That's where the name came from, because this fender, from what I can tell, was silver. The hood was a orangey red color. This piece, the cowl piece, is green. The cab was blue. This door's blue. That door's green. The bed was a tawny brown color underneath. Tailgate was red. And that fender there, I don't know what color it was because it's been replaced whenever he had it, before he painted it camouflage. But so that's why we called it that. But anyway, like the inner fenders are black. This one's black, that one's white. So hood hinges are white. So yeah, it's made out of a Ramcharger frame, club cab on it, bed made out of a different truck. So yeah, this thing is pieced together. That's where it picked the name up at. So anyway, body's pretty well shot on it though. I will save the fenders off of it and the hood off of it and the radiator support if it's decent. I can't see underneath it well enough yet until I get it off to tell whether it's good or not. But I'll save whatever pieces are good on it for the Spirit of 76 truck. That one there. And which was his dad's. Interior parts on it. Both door panels are blue. Got good blue door panels on it, so I'll save that for that truck. The dash is good on it. Got a wood grain dash here, so I'll save that for that truck over there. Anything I can save that for that truck, I will. The rest of it's probably we parted out. But it had when he gave it to me, it had a bunch of new old stock parts and saved parts from other trucks. New shocks, a bunch of headlight bezels for the 74 to 76 Dodges, taillight lenses, got another transmission. So this thing it's got a lot of good parts on it to save. Body wise though, it's pretty well shot. It is a May of 73. I can't hardly read it, but it's a 73 model cab anyway. That's what it's titled as. So, like I said, the door panels are good on it. Of course, that's not, but I've got a new old stock one of those to put on. But I'll save these because that truck was white. The Spirit 76 was white and with blue interior. So those door panels will fit perfectly. So I will let's see if we can get it running though, just for grins. And I think this motor will go into the green crew cab, because this is a 360 and it had a 360 originally. So let's see if we can get it running and then go from there with it. All right, let's see if this thing is loose or not. Last I remember looking at it was, but oh yeah, well, it's loose, but it's kind of it is loose, but it's a bit stiff. May have to put some oil down the cylinder on it. See what we got in here. More pecans. Mice have been in this thing like crazy. Alright. This truck's a little bit too tall for me to get in. See if the carburetor is loose. Yeah, primaries are. Choke is. That one is too. It appears the secondaries are stuck. Okay, well, 3 out of 4, I guess. This is an Edelbrock carb, which is essentially the same thing as a Carter AFB. I always like these carburetors. I know some people don't, but I know a lot of the other guys, they like their Hollies, but I always like these Edelbrocks. More for the fuel mileage. Well, I suppose the first line of business is to take the carb off and get it freed up. And I'd like to run a vacuum down it, make sure there's the mice haven't shoved anything down. They shouldn't have, but I kind of like to double check and make sure. Okay, had a small glitch there. This is called a square bore manifold. Try to find something to. Yeah. If you look at these ports here, they're only just a hair bigger than these here. That's what a 340 used. 340 used a square bore, at least on the early ones. A 360 always, or as far as I know, always had a spread bore manifold. These back ones would be considerably bigger than the front ones. Just an interesting tidbit, especially when you're dealing with these small block Mopars. And this manifold is a lot more sought after than a spread bore. Okay, just so you know, this is a thermoquad here. This is what would have come factory on this truck. I'm not 100% sure if this is not a rebuilt one. There's a rebuilt box in there, so I'm wondering if that's not where it came from. But this is called a spread bore. So if you notice your primaries, this is what it normally runs off. When it calls for gas, it runs off secondaries. These are considerably bigger than the secondaries. It would go like that on the Edelbrock. This is a square bore carb on this side. This is a spread bore. You notice the size of the difference. Excuse me, difference in size of the secondaries. Okay, let's see if we can get these secondaries to open. There we go. Got them. They were stuck pretty good. Those will need to be oiled up a bit, but I might be able to make that carb work. Man, that's stiff. Edelbrock also has a carb called an A. This is an AFB. They also have one called an AVS, air valve secondary, and it uses the when it calls for more fuel. Excuse me, the vacuum will operate that one, and they're supposed to be better on fuel economy. I've never used one, so I really don't know. I always wanted to try one, but Okay, I got a battery now. What truck back in the woods. So let's see. See if it will crank over now. Just for grins, I'm going to put a little bit of gas in it. Well, that was a bit surprising. I didn't quite figure it would do that quick. Well, that's going to make things a lot easier. All right, cool. Let's give it another shot. And the battery's dead on it, but hey, we actually got it to run. That's quite impressive, because for as long as it's set, I expected to have to do more work to it. I guess that's going to make it kind of easy. May have to rebuild the carb yet, but okay. I put all new fuel lines on it. Coming off the pump down there, going straight down into a bottle, so we can nurse it along, get fuel up to it, test it. Put a new one coming off the pump up to the top here. I didn't have enough, so I had to run it behind the alternator, which is awful close to the manifold, which I don't like. So I will be replacing that, but for now it should work just to test it. We'll go ahead and bolt the carburetor back down, fill the bowls up, stick a battery in it, and we'll see if this thing will run on its own. If not, I may need to go through and rebuild the carb, but hopefully it'll work just like it is, just to see if this motor is going to run good, because that's all I'm needing for now. If it won't, I guess I'll get a carb kit and we'll rebuild the carb. Let's put some go juice in it and see if we can get it together. Alright, let's give her a shot and see what she'll do. Got fuel coming up to the pump, should have fuel up to the carburetor. We'll fill the bowls. give her a shot. A little bit more. Sounds like it's running until the bulls are. I'm gonna have to check the float stuck on it. And that's all that, so we'll see if it'll go in there. Try again, pull the bulls back up. Well, I think it's running on the pump now, but I don't think the squirter's working on it. The accelerator pump. It's just too weak. Well, the battery's dead, so I think we're going to call it quits on it, on this truck. For now, we've got it running. It really runs good. Other than the fact that it won't idle down, which is just a matter of setting it and getting the vacuum all cleaned up nice on it. It needs a carb rebuilt, and I really don't want to spend the money on this one yet. So I think for now we're going to call it quits on it, and just know we have a good motor to go from. So that should be it for this episode. Okay, I decided, since the kits for these were pretty pricey to rebuild it, and I really don't want to spend that money on it right now, that I decided I'm going to try to run some solvent through it, suck it up through and let it sit for a little bit, and then flush it out, see if I can maybe get it to work. So I hooked everything up, and rather than running the gasoline through it, I'm going to suck up the solvent in there instead. It was a trick we used to use years ago at the worked at a dealership on some old cars they had out back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's not going to hurt anything. It's got to be rebuilt now, and if it works, great. If not, I'm not really out of anything. Still got to be rebuilt. We'll give her a shot and see what it'll do. Okay, after the last video, I decided to, I wasn't happy with where it ended up at. I wanted to hear it run, and I wanted to hear it run good. So I decided to try one little trick that we used to use years ago down at the Dodge dealership I worked out on. We had some cars out in the fence row that they needed to sell at an auction, and they'd been back there for years, and they were selling the dealership, just wanted them gone. And so we run, at that time it was called BG, a fuel injector cleaner, but you took a can of it and you stuck it off your fuel pump down in this can, and you run the car until it sucked that can dry, and you shut it off and you left it overnight, and you came back in the morning, and 9 times out of 10 they would run tremendously better. Anyway, it was a trick I used, and I thought, well, I don't have a BG cleaner, but I've got some of the solvent I used to clean the last carburetor. So I thought I'll just suck it up through that carburetor and let it percolate through there overnight and try it again. The only problem with that cleaner is you got to be really careful it doesn't like rubber. Rubber and some of the plastics will either make them swell or eat them up a bit. So typically I just try to use that just to clean the carburetors, but in this case I thought it needs rebuild anyway, it's worth a shot. So when I came out here a little bit ago and messed with it and realized that yes, it ate the accelerator pump out of it, chewed the rubber on it up, but it needed replaced anyway, so not a huge loss. I'll just have to nurse it a little bit, but we're going to try and see if it'll run and see if it fixed it. So I kind of cranked it a little bit earlier and it kind of acted like it was going to, but it obviously needs the needs bottle fed to get it started. But hopefully we can get it running and at least hear it run really good. So try it one more time before we give up on it for this go around. All right. Okay, now that we've got it running good, let's we can't move it because the shift column minutes froze up, so we're not going to worry about moving it around. Just not worth fixing it for that. So let's see what all we got good parts in here that came with it. It's got a slew of them. And that prop shaft. Remanufactured carburetor. And tons of pecans. I would say that's the carburetor goes with it. There's our alternator. Oh, transmission rebuild kit. Good deal. Valve cover gaskets, brand new ones. Transmission gasket. Battery tray. Or cardboard. Everybody needs cardboard. Oh, gasket. Brand new brake lines. More brake lines. Yes. Brand new tail light lenses. shaft looks like. Brand new shocks. Monroe ones. They've been in there, but they're still brand new. There's two of them. Headlight bezels. Another prop shaft. Drive shaft, I'm assuming custom made for this thing. More brake line. More brake line. More brake line. New old stock parts. Those are transmission parts. New old stock transmission. That's not new old stock, but it's turn signal lenses. I believe there's a pair of them. Yep. There's a pair of them. Turn signal lens for the front fender. That's an 80s turn signal lens. More transmission parts, it looks like. Kilburn Motors and Decatur. That's where my uncle worked at originally. I don't know if you can see that or not. Bunch of new old stock boxes and so on. Sort through that later. Sure grip carrier. I'm not sure what that's for, but that's what it is. Holley Street Dominator intake. Pair of front hubs for one of these. Another differential carrier. I'm assuming that is probably for 7 1/4 or an 8 1/4. Vest. And another transmission. 727 for full time, 4-wheel drive. That's about it out of here. Nope, take it back. Brand new pinion and ring gear. Brand new pinion and ring gear. It's dirty, but it's new. And we've got pecans everywhere. Apparently the squirrels really like the holes in the floorboard. Got more light lenses over there. But yeah, they packed this thing full. Underneath the seats, just absolutely full of pecans shells. I'd say they're getting right up through that hole right there. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Sand Umber Restorations. We got the old 73 crew cab Ramcharger suicide machine running. The motor still needs a carburetor rebuilt on the little Edelbrock. I'm not ready to do that yet. So for now, we're just going to know that we have a good running engine for the green crew cab. We'll stick this one in that truck eventually. At least that's the plan for now. At that point in time, I'll rebuild the carburetor, or possibly, I'm not 100% sure yet, I may convert that truck to propane. I had one years ago and I really liked it, and I'd like to have another one. So we'll see for now, but I don't really want to spend the money on this carburetor right now. But if you would, stay tuned for the next week or two. We're going to be bringing you this jewel. This is a 1981 Dodge Mirada, slant 6, automatic. Just picked it up. It's probably going to, not 100% sure at this point in time. I've always liked these cars. I always wanted one, but I'm trying to get into finding them and fixing them and reselling them. So this car may be coming up for sale. But until then, we're going to get her running and driving. So stay tuned for that. Probably the next week or two, I would say. And until then, have a good week. Hit that subscribe button and like, and take care.